and welcome back to another episode of Arts for the Masses. The arts are alive in Massachusetts, and I am so lucky to be able to bring them to you, the viewers at home. I'm so happy today because I have one of my favorite sopranos in Massachusetts, Elaine Crane. She's the director of Greater Worcester Opera. She's the founder of this fabulous company, and we have some really exciting performances coming up that she's going to share with us. Welcome to Arts for the Masses in the studio. Last time you were virtual, right?
Yes, I was. Here we are.
Yeah. Now, going back a little, we first started collaborating, what year was it, when we did the John Adams project, and it was Letters from Quarantine with John Adams and his wife Abigail, and that was a quarantine passion project in the midst of COVID, right?
It was.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And now we are doing live theater
thank
again.
God.
Yes. And coming up, you have an alumni concert. So tell me a little bit about that. Who's alumni? Who's coming in and what are they doing?
Well, I started this company 20 years ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. So it's a big deal to have survived this long, and I wanted to do something really special just to celebrate it. And so I asked some of the singers we've had a lot of singers over the years come and go, and some of them have moved away and gone on to different things. So I put out the call and said, who wants to come back for this kind of one-time only special celebration of our 20 years? So I've got people coming from Florida and California and Texas. Yeah. So, and lots of people still here.
And so the songs that they'll be performing in this concert, are these the songs that they performed in shows with Greater Worcester Opera?
All the music is music we've done from our productions.
Okay.
We've done 20 productions, with kids things and with regular opera and a few Broadway shows. So we're taking music from those 20 performances or productions, and then some people are going to sing what they sang originally, and some people are going to sing something different, but it's still from one of our shows.
And I see there's some duets and trios and group numbers too, so this isn't just a show up on the day of and do your stock piece. You're rehearsing this too.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a big deal, and great music. I think the trickiest part for me was paring it all down, because that's a lot of music. 20 productions is a lot of music.
And it's a lot of diverse repertoire too, from musical theater to the opera and light operetta and everything in between. Now, something really special that I appreciate about Greater Worcester Opera is that the operas you perform are in English.
Right.
So even if they're originally written in Italian or a different language, you and your team, but mostly you, are adapting.
Me and my team.
both hands up, are adapting them into an English translation. And so are you doing any of those original adapted lyrics during the
We are. It's the whole program is in English.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so all the opera stuff is all in our English translations.
What are you going to be singing?
I'm going to be singing something from Don Giovanni with Ron Williams.
And I think we have a little clip of that, right? So when did that actually perform?
2018.
Let's take a look at that.
Okay.
So I gotta tell you, the way your voices blend together is just gorgeous. And Ron has performed in a few other shows with you as well. Didn't he recently work on the Puccini double bill that you were doing?
Yes, he was Johnny Schicchi. He was also in our Carmen. He's amazing.
And he's local to Massachusetts?
He lives in Marlborough.
No, he doesn't.
He does?
If you are watching, you need to get in here. We need a private concert anytime you want. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's amazing, and he sings in Boston all the time, and he's a treasure to us.
Now you have some real professional talent here. Do most of your performers at Greater Worcester Opera, is that their main gig in life, is performing?
That's a good question. So many of us, we've been trained, like I went to Boston Conservatory, we had our professional training. kind of settled into the area, made our families and things like that.
Yeah.
And we're well-trained people, but it may or may not be our bread and butter. Like I teach, so that's kind of my bread and butter, and some people are, in the computer industry, but they're still well-trained, professionally trained people. So it's a great place for us to use our talents and our gifts that we've been trained in, even though it's not necessarily, the thing we're making our money doing.
Right. It's exciting because I'm still pretty new to Massachusetts, so I'm still exploring all these little theaters, and I'm constantly impressed by the talent, knowing that most of the time these are evening and weekend warriors that are putting on shows.
Right.
If you go to a professional theater, usually they'll take a week or two and knock out that show, but for a nonprofit group like yours, sometimes it's a much longer process.
Well, with us, what I do is I prepare everything ahead of time and I send it all out to the singers, and the understanding in our group is that you come with your music learned. We don't have the time to plunk notes, and also everybody's professionally trained. We don't need to plunk your notes, right? You go learn the music, and then when we come together, we put it on its feet.
Wow.
Yeah, so we don't have a ton of rehearsal time, actually.
And you've had amazing music directors through the years, too. Who's going to be musically directing the upcoming concert?
Well, the concert, Olga is playing, and so she's kind of music directing it, but we all know our stuff already, so it's more of coordination. And then our next production is our current music director, Aldo Fabrizi.
And that next production is a revisit of A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder. And during the pandemic, I had the privilege of bringing a team in to film this production completely virtually. So there was no audience, and this whole production was imagined just to be filmed and streamed. And I don't know of many other groups that put as much effort and passion and heart into creating something like that during the midst of the dreaded COVID pandemic. And you created something really beautiful. I was so happy to be a part of that.
Well, we were very grateful for you.
But now you get to revisit it, and you're going to put it on its feet with a live audience.
So excited.
For people that might not be familiar with The Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder, what's the vibe?
So it's very kind of, I remember I was going to New York several years ago, and I said to my friends on Facebook, what should I see? Because I could only afford to see one show. And they all knew I was a Gilbert and Sullivan nut. They said, see Gentleman's Guide. I was like, what's that? So I saw it, fell in love with it. It's so wonderful, but it's a little bit like a Gilbert and Sullivan-y thing, but it's got like this dark edge to it.
Sure.
The score is brilliant. The story is hilarious. So fun, so funny. And we have some amazing singers. So we really wanted to bring it in front of a live audience. It was such a surreal, as you know, experience to film a comedy and have like no applause and no laughter. It was
I should have put a laugh track in.
No.
Sorry, you didn't do the laugh track.
It's just so strange.
It is.
And
hold for applause.
Right.
And nothing happens. You just imagine.
The bows at the end.
Quiet. In silence. This will be very different.
It will be great.
And do you have most of the original cast returning from the filmed production?
We do have much of the original cast. The main characters are coming back. Taylor Lawton is...
What a voice on Taylor Lawton.
Yes, incredible.
And he does a lot of community theater all over the neighborhood, right?
He's amazing, and we're so excited to have him back.
And then how about the actor that plays the entire Dysquith family?
Ben, he is coming back too. He's wonderful.
Funny.
Yes.
Very funny.
Yes, right. I know. And half of our ensemble's coming back, so
wonderful.
We're really excited.
And there's a character actress role at the beginning who's very funny.
Yes.
What's that role?
Miss Shingle.
Is she coming back too?
She is. Martha Warren.
She's got a great voice.
She does.
And she just nailed that mischievous comedy. I'm so excited. Where's that production going to be performing, and where do we get tickets and all that good info?
It's going to be performed at Calliope Theater in Boylston.
Okay.
From June 8th to 11th, so a Thursday through a Sunday.
Wonderful.
And you can get tickets on our website, greaterworcesteropera.org.
Wow. Now, last time around, you used tracked accompaniment. This time around, will there be a live accompaniment?
We're going to use the same tracked accompaniment.
It's really beautiful, though.
It's great.
And
yeah.
so it doesn't diminish the performances
Not
at all.
at
If
all.
anything, I think it adds to it because
It's all the instruments. We couldn't afford to rent all the or hire all the instruments.
Yeah.
So it's the whole orchestra,
Right.
which is exciting.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You're also very active on Facebook, so
We are.
tune into the Facebook for
Yes.
all those updates as well.
Right.
And just a wonderful group, and everyone seems so kind and so giving in your organization. It's been a pleasure to have you on Arts for the Masses,
Thank
Elaine.
you.
Continue supporting your local arts organizations, whether it's an opera company, a community theater, a dance group. There are so many ways to get involved in the arts in Massachusetts and be a patron of the arts. That's what I consider myself.
Absolutely.
So thanks for watching Arts for the Masses. I'm Ryan, and take care.